Alright, and here we go for the $1 million question. You are one question away to get yourself that $1 million payout. Are you ready? A surprisingly easy question to answer as a parent. Is it appropriate to flash your naked body in front of your children? A. Yes. B. No. Why is it taking you so long? Now, in this story's scenario, beginning in True Off My Chest, the children are adults, so you can feel relieved in that resort. But it doesn't at all make the rest of this situation any better. For context, my parents are swingers. I found out about them being swingers right after I graduated high school in 2016. I've never really had an opinion on the matter until recently. I don't care what they do behind closed doors, but I personally don't want to see it in person. I'm sure that makes me sound like a bad person, but I've always accepted them for who they are. It's honestly just really weird to see my parents make out with other people when they're around a group of people. Anyways, they are in a relationship with another couple and have been with them for almost 2 years. They, being the other couple, just recently moved in with my parents because they lost their house and couldn't find another place in time. So my parents kicked my sister, her fiance, and their baby out of the basement in order to give their friends the space and put my sister, her fiance, and baby upstairs in one bedroom to spare, which is a small 12 by 12 room. The friends have also stated that they're another set of grandparents for my niece and call themselves Grandma, insert name, and Papa, insert name. My sister and her fiance are not comfortable with this, but my parents and their friends don't seem to care because they're all together as one. Now onto the vacation. We were supposed to go on our first ever family vacation last year, October 2021, but it ended up getting pushed back to April of this year, due to costs, because of my wedding, which everyone was fine with. It then got pushed back again, because my sister was in her 3rd trimester of her pregnancy and couldn't fly. So now it is scheduled for February of 2023. My parents told my sister and I, along with our significant others, that they would be bringing their friends along on the vacation. And I'm frustrated about it, to be honest. With the way that they've been handling things with my sister and with all of their public displays of affection, it's made me not want to go anymore. I mean, it's our first ever family vacation, like I've already mentioned, and I wanted it to be just family. I'm at a loss, and I'm not sure how to handle the situation. And we don't want to upset my parents about how I and everyone else, my husband, sister, and brother-in-law, feel. Any advice? Clearly this daughter is just jelly that she can't get as many options of loving as her mummy can. No, but in all seriousness, there is some valid information that needs to be added in regards to this situation. See, some who are actually educated about this sort of stuff, they argue that they're not swingers, they're probably polyamorous. Many polycules are involved in each other's families, helping raise each other's kids and such, but regardless, they should be listening to their kids on how they feel about the involvement of the new partners. It's definitely not something to just push on people. Continuing on in somewhat the parents' defense, understanding OP not wanting to see the kink, but it sounds like after 2 years, this is an established relationship going way beyond just swinging around. Moving in and accepting family roles should be a happy thing. And look, I agree to this last bit that hey, if my parents found a way to keep their lives exciting and fun and fresh without needing to nag me all the time just because I moved out, like I get it. For 18 years, I was the focus of your life and now that's gone. You kind of lost a sense of purpose in a way. What's that random gamer online? You're telling me you slept with my mother? Good! I'm glad she's getting busy! But there are so many people who seem to think that the OP actually lives with them, to which they clarify in an edit that no, that's not the case, and the sister and her family are trying to move out. But hey, wouldn't you know it, there's this little thing going on called the cost of living crisis. You know, the exact thing that caused these friends to have to bunk up with their swinging buddies instead of finding their own place to live, as well as a longer edit basically saying that, look, they do agree and accept their parents' relationship. What they don't accept is how they treat this dynamic the same way I treat popcorn by shoving it down everyone's throats, but specifically my own throat. No one else gets the popcorn, only me. It's not what they're doing that's the problem, it's how unnecessarily public and open they are in doing it. And just so you understand how uncomfortable it is, imagine this was something happening in your household, okay? Ready? They have a calendar on the fridge that says what nights they will swap beds and sleep with the other person. Example, My mom and the other woman move between my dad and the other guy. There are also times where they make intimate jokes about screwing each other or randomly flash each other when we are around. Like, I mean, at least wait until people aren't there to do those things. That's the part I'm not okay with. Ugh, what a prude, am I right? So what? Your mom likes to roleplay a bit bicycle. It's totally... She's allowed to be an inanimate object if she wants sometimes, you know? Human responsibility can be tough. Sometimes you just want someone else to take the reins, in this case, handlebars. Well, just a month later, the OP returns, here to let us know how everything went in regards to confessing and rightfully justified in not wanting to be around their parents on a vacation if this is how they are in a house. Like just your basic household. And they're this ridiculously horny, my goodness. Hi everyone. A few weeks ago, I made a post about my parents inviting their friends on a family vacation and said I'd give an update after I talked to my parents. Well, I did, and it didn't go well. Also, sorry the update took so long. I've been struggling with the outcome really badly, and I needed time to write it all out. So, on to the update. I brought all of my feelings up to my parents, and they weren't very happy. They asked why I never brought it up, and I told them that it was because I was fine with everything until I started seeing it. And that's when it made me uncomfortable. But now they'd think I don't accept them for who they are, and they don't really see an issue with inviting their friends or doing other things with their friends in front of everyone else around. My mom basically said that what they do is none of my business. What the? Then don't do it in front of everyone! Ma'am, this park is public, and if I want a helicopter with no pants on, that is my right. You can just walk away. So none of my business or anyone else's, and they can do what they want. Which is true. They're adults and can do what they want. But some of the things they do should be in private settings, and not for others to see. They also consider their girlfriend and boyfriend to be family, which again is fine. I know many people do. And since it's a family vacation, they're still inviting them, regardless of how everyone feels about it. I just want to be with my parents for once, without their friends being there and having them be all over each other. They also see no issue with their friends calling themselves grandparents to my niece. So I got upset and told them my husband and I would not be attending the vacation and they could take someone else. And until they understand where I'm coming from, I would not be coming around. So, for the time being, my parents are being cut off. I'm very sad about the outcome, and it makes me sad that they would choose their friends over their own child, but to each their own, I guess. Thank you all for the comments. I read every single one of them, even if I didn't comment back. I still read them. There were some very nice supporting ones that really helped, and also some not very nice ones that also helped. So thank you all. And in case you're curious, no, the sister is not at all on the opposite side of this. She actually fully agrees with what the OP did here. And many others are not afraid to point out the clear, manipulative cop-out that is the whole, you don't accept us, when you are literally being uncomfortable exhibitionists towards people who don't consent to be a part of your little kink time. I mean, yes, as pointed out, it's not exactly a case of them just being swingers at this point. It is a genuine relationship, but even then, it's cool you're making it more official and have a bit more, I guess, nuance now than just wanting to bang booties, but you're kind of pretty much more housemates than you are just living in your private mansion. Maybe begin treating it like such? Like, let's remember this whole thing. They booted out their daughter, who was raising a child, out of their basement, apartment, studio sort of space, and thrown her into a room instead. No separate room for the baby to sleep in and not be so disturbing. No, just like shove the one who's actually trying to raise a family into the 12 by 12 room that couple could have had. What? I mean, a 12 by 12 room, so much space for activities. You can fulfill all your Mr. Grey, stupid fantasy stuff. It's not anyone's business. Yeah, you perverts. Now come here, you. Also, call my frick buddy Grandpa. Now moving on to this strange collage of experiences. From just over a year ago it all begins. A great omen to share with those close to you that are interested in pursuing dance as a career. You know that moment when you are doing something and everything in your body and mind come together to tell you that it is just right? Well, I get that when I dance. I get to be in control of myself and see other people light up when I begin to move. It truly is magical. For moments, I feel like a weightless fairy princess. There are some pretty harsh realities to face when no one wants to take this further than a hobby. For one, no one around me can afford to live. We don't get paid enough, and we work 12-hour days and most weekends. We abuse our bodies in a terrible manner, working out for 8 or more hours in front of a mirror in a room full of other underweight people. Dancers push and push and push closer and closer to the end of the cliff, teetering on the edge of starving artists and actually starving. If this were the only issue, I could justify the lifestyle. But abuse becomes the standard. We get mentally berated by artistic directors, pushed aside by politics, and told we are never enough over and over again. I mean, when does this break a person? What lines are we willing to cross to stand on stage for 5 minutes in the hopes of finding our soul and sharing it with unreceptive ears of the modern generation? And yet ballerinas like me love ballet. It is our world and our addiction. And so I guess I wonder, do normal people understand the feeling of becoming pure beauty for brief moments and sacrificing the rest of their lives for them? Is it better to dream small and live in security, or is passion worth deprivation? A strangely, beautifully moving piece of a post there. Shame no one cared to read it. Wow! So it does come across as a one-off post, but as we come across other stories that they later posted, this clearly stemmed from a certain experience that they begin to bring up in the further updated stories. Not technically updated, it's a new story, but you get my point. This time posting an r/binge eating disorder, a short post expressing their frustration with what is expected of herself in the industry, clearly developing a sense of body dysmorphia, and just, you know, personally makes me want to avoid the ballet in general, just so I'm not supporting people resorting to this or people in power of those industries further encouraging this standard. Because it's 2 months later in the actual r/ballet subreddit. Seriously, what is that image? That we get to meet the totally messed up people who are encouraging this expectation onto the OP. Like, oh my god, turns out Dance Moms wasn't just some scripted reality TV. Hello, lovely fellow dancers. I am currently a trainee starting my professional dance experience with a smaller ballet company that is doing some pretty illegal things, it seems. And I am not sure if or how to get authorities involved. My director drinks constantly while working with both the company and little kids, and while driving. She screams bloody murder at everyone for the most minor of infractions in both ballet and life. She has hit, shoved, grabbed necks, threatened, and pulled hair in her first reaction emotional fits. She lies about casting, lies to donors, and lies to her company and to the bank. She doesn't pay people that she says she will pay, or if she does, they have to ask her numerous times, and it is never on time. In addition to all this, she doesn't do her job. She misses her own rehearsals and gets mad when we go to the stage and try to perform material she gave us minutes before we go on. Not to mention she constantly tells girls, already too skinny, that they are too fat, even when gorging herself on pizza, fried food, and baked goods. I am pretty sure that this is not normal behavior in a ballet company, but I am too young and too scared to really know what to do. I'd love some thoughts and guidance. Now, of course, Manny's first thought is to leave. I mean, if this is clearly a horrible work environment, just go find another dance gig somewhere else. To which, as a fellow creative in the creative industry, yeah, just go get another job somewhere else with the same sort of thing. Yeah, because they're just everywhere. In a more civil response, yes, dance jobs are very hard to come by. With the OP themselves saying this, that they've worked their whole life to get to this place, and they are afraid they won't be given an equal opportunity elsewhere. But also, she doesn't want to just ditch all her friends and the kids that are suffering here. She wants to help them out and make a stand. Now, obviously, this gained some traction, so they came back with a quick update about a week later. Thank you to everyone who commented on my last post. Life has been hard since that last entry, but I did get to go home and process what has happened. Things got even worse, including, but not limited to, calling some girls fat, not showing up to shows, firing an orchestra, revoking green cards, evicting someone in the company she was a landlord for, and passing out drunk backstage, then driving her kid around for 2 hours. On the way to the last show, I was in a car accident with 2 other dancers, and she didn't even bat an eye. She was even later to the theater than we were and ended up calling everyone outside, where she screamed at us for half an hour, drunk, and blamed us for a miscarriage she had years ago. It was heartbreaking to perform with so much chaos and a devastating decision to leave the company, seeing as I love my friends there and the training very much. Sadly, I was no longer safe and am currently out of a job and away from dance. I love ballet with my whole heart, but I needed to get somewhere that I was not being mentally and sometimes physically abused. I hope that I will find a company to intern with to keep in shape for audition season and am keeping my chin up for better times. Truthfully, I am not sure there will even be a company waiting for her come January, seeing as so many people left or were fired. I only pray that no one else falls for her lies and that she can get the help that she desperately needs. Now sadly, there was no place I could report her to without it giving my information and further perpetuating the already negative situation. So thank you to everyone who commented and helped me take the step to walk away. My heart is sad to leave behind such beautiful people, besides the director, but I am so thankful to have some time to be with family and heal. Peace to each and every one of you. So props to the OP for willing to walk away, but the next step, still being enforced to, well, now you're definitely no longer a part of her stuff. Now's the best time to go to the police about it. They continue on. In my area, we just recently had a director accused of intimately assaulting multiple men over 30 years. Yo, you're in Brisbane. This is Brisbane. Yes, this post circulated in 2022. This is totally about what happened last year. Oh man. Yes, the wonderful tale of Harvest Rain, the theatre company in Brisbane with victims aged between 12 and 29. The alleged O'Connor exposed himself, diddled and did oral stuff with children and obtained indecent images of complainants through covert filming in his bathroom. It's really awkward because I myself, back in 2011 and even in 2014, was so keen to check out that place. Thank God I didn't. Even coming across this comment stream about it all when it was still fresh off the press. Apparently, even if you were a woman, you were still somewhat getting fricked over by these people. As someone who was once an intern at the company was once a Christian company, but was later acquired by its current management. There was nothing religious about the organization under their management. Again, no religious themes or tones in their shows, no prayers before shows, etc. If they ever stated it, I'm sure it was some sort of marketing gimmick to siphon money out of the local community. And as far as it taking this long to come out, well, they had a lawyer on site at all times. The company was fraudulent in more ways than one, luring gullible actors, singers, dancers, and promising fame and the chance to perform to high-up people within the industry. And in return, you pay a tuition fee of close to $9,000. Though the only thing, instead of doing multiple shows, we did one, and a showcase for family and friends, not talent scouts and agents. Also, they worked out a contract, so if you had stayed for longer than a month, even if you left, you would still have to pay the tuition. Now, you would assume with a fee like that, you would be rigorously honing your craft. Instead, there were hour-long sessions on learning image and industry, with pseudo quotes like, "Imagine you're a carton of milk on the shelf." Once that month was up, warm greetings and promises turned to sour, rude, demeaning attitudes and broken promises. And yes, he did hit on me multiple times, and it was very much a "who would believe you if you said anything" situation. His whole thing was, I am this great gatekeeper for your future career, and he used this false belief to brainwash young gullible performers to worship the ground he walked on, and apparently lure in victims. Anyway, coming back from that huge digression, point is, just because you walked away doesn't mean you should think everyone else is safe and sound. You should definitely call this out before it becomes 30 years of this sort of behavior being tolerated. Moving over to Today I Screwed Up. Today I screwed up by sleepwalking at a party. For a little backstory, I'm a 20-year-old female, and I'm a sleepwalker and tend to sleepwalk very often, especially after a little alcohol. I was at a mutual friend's party this weekend and was spending the night there. I went to sleep a little tipsy until the next morning when I woke up in a completely different room, bed and shorts. I was so confused and already a little mortified. Well, unfortunately, it was a whole lot worse than just climbing into an empty bed. My friends just told me the entire fiasco today. During the sleepwalking episode, I took off my pants and underwear and climbed into bed with the host's parents. I then wiggled around Winnie the Pooh style onto the mom's boyfriend. Despite apologizing and letting them know I was in fact sleepwalking and was not trying to make a move on the boyfriend, I am now forbidden from the house, awake or not, which I cannot really blame them. I just... Oh, what a terrible night to have an ailment. Is it an ailment? What would you consider sleepwalking? It's not a disability. Is it a disability? Hey, you went for the gold and by God, you got it. And in case you're curious what she means by Winnie the Pooh style, is this. Yeah, just a casual 20-year-old woman snuggling up next to a man who is currently sleeping beside his partner. You know, I do feel sorry for the OP here, but also for the guy. Like, I'm sure the mother knows he didn't initiate anything here, but, you know, it's gonna be in the back of her mind for at least the next week. Damn, apparently these crazy sleepwalking stories are pretty common. Leads me to be curious, is there anyone here who's watching right now who is a sleepwalker themselves, or know anyone who sleepwalks? Because I'm a very basic biscuit of a human being. I don't really have anything that's interesting like sleepwalking. I just have, you know, the basic stuff like depression. What's your poison? Cruiser. Yeah, waking up outside your apartment naked without keys to get in. God, you happen to sleep with an open door. That's just, nah, man, that's honestly biggest fears. Being naked in public. I used to sleepwalk really bad when I was in high school. After I woke up on the side of the highway, quarter mile from our house, my parents went on full guard duty at night, setting up noisy obstacles and whatnot. This was the mid-70s. Hoping to be woke up before I got out of the house. Usually parents caught me before I got out of the house on my way to the store or the woods. Very rural Kansas. True story, during senior year high school, Navy recruiters were driving me to the place where you take all the physics tests and enlist. One was driving, the other was asking me questions and checking the yes or no boxes on a form. Do you sleepwalk? Yes. No, you don't. Checks no. Wait, yes, I do. Like, really bad. Like, a lot. No, you don't. Tries to continue asking questions. No, wait, why does it matter if I sleepwalk? Oh, well, we don't want you walking off the side of a ship and drowning. Well, I don't want to walk off the side of a ship and drown. You'll be fine. There were several other questions that I would answer one way and he would correct me. I ended up not enlisting. You know, it's nice to see that even America's Navy is as desperate to recruit people as Australia's. Well, I think we'll end today's video there. Thank you once again, as always, and forever eternal for watching. Nearly lost my train of thought there as I was speaking, but anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.